So, welcome everyone, whether you are listening in your car, whether you are joining us live, or whether you are watching the recording. I am so excited to have you here in the space because this particular container, this particular event is absolutely incredible, especially at this time, because we are entering a whole new phase. And that's a beautiful thing about a new year as well, is that everyone feels like, it's a new year, it's a new me, there's new possibilities. I'm exiting the old and entering in the new. Even though we know that at any single moment, we can shift into a whole new timeline, right? At any single moment, we can shift. But it's such a beautiful representation of the new energy, of the new timeline when we move into a whole new year as well. So that's why I wanted to hold this particular event at this time because it is that beautiful representation of the new, fresh energy. And when we step into the new timeline, we have to release, we have to let go of the old timeline as well, and what is no longer serving us when we align with the new timeline. So, the purpose of this particular event is to help you make that shift, is to help you shift from the old into the new, what no longer serves you, the patterns, the beliefs that we desire to leave in the old timeline so that we can fully align with the new timeline, right? Because if we don't leave those beliefs, if we don't leave those patterns behind, then we are not going to align with the new timeline. So that is truly what it is all about. And I love that it's also this time in I like in the sunny coast at the moment or over the weekend. It was just pouring down with rain. And we also had the last full moon of the entire year. So it's this beautiful representation energetically of the release that we are moving through, right? It's this beautiful representation of this cleanse of the old so that we can step into the new. So that is what I want to talk about in this particular event. I'm going to run this event a little bit different to past events in terms of I'm going to have it a little bit more like a workshop. So I'm actually going to help you and walk you through the particular steps to follow in order to step into that new timeline. So I'm really, really excited. And I'm also just so grateful to have you here, whether you are watching live or whether you are watching the recording. And I highly, highly, highly recommend. I know a couple of you are, driving, and a couple of you are, maybe watching this as you're doing something else, which is completely fine. We all have an incredible full life, especially at this particular time of the year. But I really invite you to stay with us. I really invite you and encourage you to do this work as soon as you possibly can, right? So even if that is tonight, after you have watched the event, or if you're watching the recording, after you finish watching the recording, get stuck into the juiciness. So I would have emailed you already the workbook for this particular event because I don't want you to just leave with a whole bunch of information. I desire you, and my intention for you is to leave as the embodied version of you who is aligned with this next timeline that you desire to quantum leap into. Because in order to have a quantum leap, and why the purpose I called this the shift event, and this is an event that I'm going to be continuously showing up and doing every single year because this work isn't just, a one-time thing for me. It is who I am. It is my mission. It is my purpose to help you align with your highest frequency, to raise the consciousness of the entire planet. That is my mission. That is my purpose. That's why I'm here doing this work. And the whole, premise of why I called this particular event the shift, like what I mentioned before, shifting into the new timeline. But for me, this was such a powerful tool. This was such a game changer in my own journey. So when I was at that particular phase, and if you haven't heard this, the story and this part of my journey, I'm going to keep it short for this purpose because I know we have a few women on here who have been in the events before. But, when I was in this place of feeling like manifestation was super hard and things weren't coming into my life, and I literally had, $0 in my bank account, or I literally had, I think, $10 in my bank account. We got kicked out of our apartment. We were living with Josh's grandma at the time. And our life as we knew it had just crumbled. And I felt like, things weren't shifting, things weren't moving, even though I was watching YouTube videos on Abraham Hicks and I was learning how to, be in that high vibrational state and be happy all of the time, be happy and high vibe. How many times have we heard, you know, the saying, just be happy, high vibe, and then you will attract the things that you desire because, happiness is the frequency of joy, which is the frequency of your desires, which I'm not saying frequency isn't important because it absolutely is. I want you to be and embody the happiest version of you, the most joyful version of you. But I also desire you to attract and call in and quantum leap into your desired reality. So, I don't want you to leave this event just being happy and joyful and feeling good. I want you to, yes, be happy, feeling good, but then also attract what it is that you desire in 2025. And it's such a beautiful piece of the puzzle because when I was at that stage of feeling like everything was hard and slow and I was this happy, vibrant person, but I wasn't attracting the money that I desire. I wasn't attracting the business success. I wasn't attracting the life that I desired because what I realized was that I was energetically in the old timeline. And I love that as I'm explaining that, the fuzziness on my camera is coming through. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. We've just got a message about the rain, cleansing rain over the weekend. Yeah, so it's a beautiful time to have this event. And that's why I say do this work and embody this work as soon as you can. So use that workbook that I have given you. If you haven't got access to that, just shoot me a message over on Instagram and I'll send that workbook over to you so that you can dive into because the work really isn't listening to what I'm saying and showing up. That's incredible, right? That you're choosing yourself, you're choosing your desires, and you know that you are meant for more. But the work really happens when we go within, when we actually look at where am I holding myself back? Where am I in the old timeline like I was before? Where am I repeating patterns? Because only when we have the awareness around that can we really shift into the new timeline. So it's all about going within. It's all about shifting and having that awareness from within so that you can shift into that new timeline. So this shift is what I used and what I'm going to walk you through in this particular workshop and transformational event because it is a transformation. You're going to have that internal transformation. And this is what I used to shift to the new timeline and then quantum leap into a whole new reality. So going from $0, living with Josh's parents, losing my job, not having the business success that I desired, into the six figures, into manifesting our dream home, into creating the relationship of my dreams, into this whole new timeline. So that's what I'm talking about when it's the shift into a whole new timeline. It's not just about manifesting dribs and drabs. It's not just about manifesting a one-time win. I want you to actually experience the whole new timeline. I want you to experience this whole new reality that you desire for yourself in the new year, in 2025. And when I'm talking about a whole new timeline, because I intuitively sense you're like, what are you talking about with this whole new timeline? So, without getting too much into the quantum physics side of things, like I go into a lot of that in Lucky Girl Academy, my manifestation program. But for the premise of today, it is truly about understanding that your desires already exist, right? When you can visualize, so when you can close down your eyes, and I'm going to take you through a really powerful visualization that I've created for this particular event as well. But when you can close down your eyes and visualize, or if you're not, a visual person, if you can sense, if you can feel you already living in your desires, that means that there's already a timeline in the quantum field, where the quantum field is the field that we cannot see with our physical eyes, but we can tap into with our clairsentience, our clairaudience, our clairvoyancy, to able to actually see the quantum realm, right? So this is quantum physics. So all that you need to understand is that your desires already exist on a different timeline. You are already living your desires. And that version of you who is already living and experiencing your desires knows the pathway for you to actually get there in the fastest timeline. So that is why things that would have taken years to manifest if you're just going down the linear pathway and you're just, creating those 1% better steps every single day and the momentum towards your desires. Yes, you will eventually get there if you stay in that energy and that alignment. But what I want to help you do, and what is my superpower, is to help you actually tap into that version of you, to actually shift from the timeline that you are actually experiencing. What you are experiencing outside of yourself is just because of the version of you that you are today. And I want to help you shift into the new timeline and embody the new version of you. Because when you do that, that is when you quantum leap and you attract what it is that you desire in the fastest timeline, which is honestly so much fun. So much fun. Because as I was sitting here, and I was really reflecting on, this whole year. I'm reflecting on this time of year as well, when everyone's like, oh, I just want to slow down. I just want to take holidays. I just want to, almost this mentality of escape my life because I don't actually like the life that I'm currently living, and I'm exhausted from living this life that is unaligned with me. So I need to take a break from that life. And it's such a crazy concept because when we are living a life that is so aligned with us and we are, living that life in flow and creating that life in flow, that we feel like, and I'm in the state of like, oh, I don't need to escape my life. It's like, yes, I'll still do the things that I love, but I have such a big vision that like I know where I'm going to go and I want to keep leaning and moving towards that new reality. So that's what I want for you to create such a huge, incredible vision for 2025 that every single day you're waking up excited, that every single day you are like, yes, how can I move closer to this new reality? How can I embody this version of me a little bit more today? How can I wake up and step into that version of me and move from that space so that you are creating that life because that life is just so incredibly delicious and that vision is so incredibly delicious. So that's what I desire for you to create that vision for 2025 that is so, so beyond powerful that you're just like, oh, I just cannot wait to experience it. But also fall in love with the life that you are currently living as well, because that's a whole different topic. But what I wanted to start with is really actually looking back and reflecting on the year that has just gone by. So, the power of doing this, and I want to just talk about it as well. So, when I was making this shift into the new timeline, what I realized was that my energy was kept going back to the past because there were certain things that happened in my past that I felt a certain way about. So I felt shame around where I was currently at. I had been to uni for 7 years. And then I was at this place where I had literally $10 in my bank account. I had nowhere to go. It was this place that I was creating this judgment around. And I felt this shame. I felt these certain emotions that I was actually suppressing because we are so conditioned to believe that we can't feel negative emotions towards our desires. We only can experience happy and vibrant emotions, and we can only feel positive emotions towards our desires. But the thing is, when we are actually suppressing and resisting the emotions of where we are currently at and our past and what has happened in the past, then what we resist persists. So we don't realize, but we're actually energetically focusing on the past because we haven't actually transmuted those emotions. Because emotions cannot be created or destroyed, they can only be transmuted, right? So when I decided to make this shift, I had to actually go back into the past. And I don't do this often, right? With clients, we don't actually venture back into their past often. Because what can happen is if we focus too much on the past, then we keep recreating that reality into our future. Because there's no such thing as the past and the future. In the quantum realm, there's only the now. So, what you're focusing in the now is what is going to create in the future moments, right? Which is such a powerful concept. But if our energy keeps going back to the past because we feel shame. We feel certain emotions around the past that we're not allowing ourselves to move through and transmute. It's going to keep us in the old timeline. So, a really powerful exercise that I want us to start off with is actually reflecting on our year, reflecting on 2024. And I want us to do this in a space of non-judgment. So I don't want you to go back into the past and be like, wow, I could have done that better. Wow, I was so shit here. I can't believe I did that. What the hell was I doing over here? This is why I'm here. It is bad. It is wrong. No, 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 no. I want you to reflect on 2024 in the space of non-judgment. And something that has been really, really, really powerful, and something that I actually took from my own mentor as well, and have turned it into my own way and shifted it into my own perspective, was actually going back through the months. So you can use your camera roll. If you've got your phone handy, you can use your camera roll, or you can actually just go back with your mind and reflect on the past year from a space of non-judgment, right? So from a space of, okay, this is what happened in January. That's interesting. I'm reflecting on it from the space of, okay, I can see some things that were happening. I can see some patterns that were playing out. I can see some beliefs that were coming up, and I can feel some emotions in my body from that particular month. And it's just having that awareness around any patterns, any beliefs, any feelings that are coming up into the body, and allowing yourself to feel that. So, as you will see, if you have the workbook handy, I have created two different columns. So, one column is the column of things that you would love to release from 2024. What would you love to release in the old timeline that you do not want to take into 2025 or into the new timeline? Okay. So reflect from that perspective of, okay, I can see myself, for an example of, I can see myself that, when I was, really stepping into my confidence, and then someone said something negative around what I could do and what I couldn't do. At that point, I could see that I was going back into an old pattern of hiding. So I stopped posting on social media. I stopped sharing my magic. I stopped sharing my offers. And I actually retracted because of an underlining belief of fear of being seen. It is unsafe for me to be seen, right? So it's allowing yourself to actually see any patterns that were playing out in 2024. And then a really, really, really potent part of this piece is actually feeling into the gratitude for 2024, because we don't want to just go back and reflect on all of the things that we want to release. We also want to reflect on what we are most grateful for this year as well. Because when we do that, we look back and we realize, wow, I did experience so much within my year that I can be grateful for. I did experience that travel that I desired to experience. I did experience that love that I desired to experience. I did experience, stepping into more of my confident self. So I want to reflect as well to see what we are grateful for. What did you experience that you would love to experience more of in this new timeline, that you would love to experience more of in 2025? Okay. So I am going to play some music. If you are listening to the recording of this, I just want you to pause this recording now and spend this next few minutes, if you can, if you're not driving or listening to this where you can't. And I'm also going to pop a playlist down the bottom for you so that you can listen to the same songs that we are listening to within this workshop as well. Obviously, if you were driving, then just allow yourself to listen to the music and allow yourself and your energy to go back into 2024 and to feel if there's any shame, if there's any lingering doubt, if there's any lingering fear that is coming up right now to be felt, to be transmuted, to be released, to be cleansed. And with that, we are allowing ourselves to transmute those emotions. So that's when we can actually step into the new timeline. Okay, so this is going to be really powerful. So if you're watching the recording, pause it now and do that work if you can, or just listen to the music if you're driving and do the work later. So stay with us on this. If you're not doing it right now, do it tonight, because what can happen is that the ego can come in and say, well, I don't want to change. Because the whole premise of the subconscious and the ego is to keep you safe. It is to keep you in the old timeline because it's familiar, because it's actually known, it's comfortable, right? It's comfortable, even though it's not what we want to be experiencing, because it's known, because it's comfortable. It's like, oh my goodness, don't do the embodiment work, don't shift, because that means that we are going to be unsafe. And I'm telling you right now that even though it may feel a bit uncomfortable to do this work, it is going to change everything. And 2025 is your year. This is why you're here right now. You've been guided to this space, you've been guided to this workshop and this event because it is time for you to experience that. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to play some music for us all. And I'm just going to spend about five minutes here. Beautiful, amazing. Welcome back. I can feel the emotions coming through, and it's such a powerful exercise. And I highly recommend. The song was beautiful. Yeah. So, if you feel called, share with us what came up for you. But I also recommend to, after this workshop, after and even tonight, to go back to this exercise. Even look at your camera roll and go through each month to see for each month what you are grateful for and what you are ready to release and let go of. So that is such a powerful part of releasing the old timeline. Okay. So that is part one of shifting into a new timeline. I also highly recommend, and this is part of the embodiment piece as well, and you'll have these questions available to you after this event, but also to go back and, like what I mentioned before, look at any patterns, look at any beliefs that are coming up that are actually saying that you can't attract what it is that you desire, right? Because this is a part of our old identity. This is the part of our identity that has got us up until this point, which we are beyond grateful for, because you are incredible. And I know that you have already attracted some incredible things in your life. So, of course, we want to be grateful for the current identity. But because you're desiring more, because you are wanting to quantum leap in 2025, It is time to look at these beliefs that are no longer serving us. And the reason why it's called a limiting belief is because it's limiting you to this particular timeline. A limitless belief, when we rewire that limiting belief into a limitless belief, we are able to align with the new timeline. Everyone has limiting beliefs. I'm literally doing this work every single day to look where am I limiting myself? Where are beliefs holding me and attaching me into this timeline? And how can I become aware of that? Because that's 95% of the work is becoming aware of those beliefs that are limiting us and attaching us to this timeline and what we are experiencing currently, so that we can rewrite those, so that we can tap into and align with the new timeline. So look at any beliefs, become aware. This is such a powerful awareness tool, because if we're not aware of them, then we do not know how to rewrite them so that we can align with the new timeline. So looking back on 2024 is a powerful awareness tool. So add these to your release list, okay? Add these and everything that you would love to release in 2024. And then after this call or tonight, when you go back and you look at this list and you add all the things that you want to add, then we want to either rip this page up or we want to burn it safely, please. Not holding me accountable to any buyers. But we want to safely be able to burn this or rip it up, whatever you feel called. So you are actually the act of releasing this. You are releasing this old timeline. You are releasing this version of you who is aligned to what you have received up until this point. Because you're ready for more. You are ready for more. You are wanting to experience more and quantum leap into that whole new timeline. That is why you're here. So we are leaving that in 2024. And this is such a powerful thing to do now, not just because of the energy right now, but also so many people, and I have been guilty of this, of leaving this until January, leaving this till later on, and then it comes the end of January, and then we're all like frazzled and, we're trying to get together our vision and what we want to create, but not you, because you are already going to be aligned to that new timeline. You are already going to be seeing the shift happen, the momentum happen that is going to lead into a shift externally. Because everything in our external reality is just our reflecting our internal reality with delay. Okay, so there's always going to be delay from making that shift into quantum leaping into that new reality, but we'll talk about that later. So that is the final piece of releasing the old timeline, is to rip up that paper, burn it, whatever you need to do, so that you are right now declaring, you are drawing the line in the sand, that you are stepping into a whole new timeline. You are not letting the past define what you can and cannot create moving forward. Because so often when clients come into my world, they are reflecting on the past and what they have attracted up until this point or haven't attracted, and then basing their desires from that space, saying, well, I've attracted this up until this point. What makes me feel like I can attract more than that, right? And it blocks you from really attracting your soul desires, because it's not actually what you want. You're not allowing yourself to dream big enough. You're not allowing to fully tap into your soul desires. Because when it's a soul desire, it is pulling you. When it's a soul desire, expansive. It feels so incredibly good. There's still a little bit of like, oh, that's a bit of a stretch. Can I do that? I don't know how, but I'm trusting that the how is going to be presented to me. The how isn't up to you, right? It is up to the universe, source, whomever you put in your belief into. It is up to your intuition to lead you down the path to the how of creating that. But I want you from this space to declare that the past is no longer the past. You are no longer energetically going back to the past and recreating that into your future. You are right now declaring what it is that you actually want, not what your kids want, not what your parents want, not what you think you want because someone else has that. I want you to get clear on what you want. Yes, of course, we want to take into account our kids, but not before you actually get clear on what you want. Because when you are living the life that you desire, when you are attracting the things that you desire, it allows you to be the best version of you. So that impacts the whole world around you as well. So, like a big thing that comes up, especially for the women coming to my space, is like, isn't it like so selfish that I want to create this life for myself? Shouldn't I think about, my kids? Shouldn't I think about my partner? Shouldn't I put everyone else before me? And this is a huge thing, right? Because you are selfless. You are this incredible human being that wants to put everyone before themselves. But I want you to truly, truly, truly understand that by putting you first, by putting your seatbelt on first, you are actually going to show up so much more powerfully for the people in your life, right? And by you attracting the life that you desire, you're becoming and stepping into the woman who has those desires. So it's not just about attracting what it is that you desire, it's about who you become in that process, who you step into, the impact that you create in this world. By you living the life that you desire, you are energetically shifting the entire planet and millions of people around you that come in contact with you because you are living your dream life. So, no, it is not selfish. It is the most selfless thing that you could ever do. Okay. So I want us to now step and shift into the desired timeline by actually creating what it is that we want. We want to create a vision that is so powerful and so juicy, like what I said before, that you are getting up every single day so excited to jump out of bed to create this life for herself, for her family. So we want to go big. The gist of that whole topic was to say we want to go big, okay? But we want to create our desires from the space of we already have so much in our life, but we desire more, right? So that is why I got you to create that gratitude list of looking at 2024 and what you have experienced and feeling into that gratitude for those things, because that's when we tap into the frequency of having, right? Because there's a very big difference with setting intentions and creating the vision from a place of, I don't have this, so I want this, or I need this to come into my life in 2025, versus I have experienced moments of time freedom in 2024. I have experienced moments of love in 2024. I have experienced moments of money and abundance in 2024, but I desire more, right? I desire more because when we are tapping into what we already have and then desiring more from that space, we're in the frequency of having, which takes us out of the frequency of need. Because when we are in need and we are attached to the outcome, attached to the vision, that is when we're actually repelling it. We're in the frequency of repel. So we want to tap into the frequency of, I desire you, but I don't need you. That is magnetic energy. That is aligned with what it is that you desire. So I've definitely got myself stuck on my goals in the past as I was thinking too much about everyone else. Yes, exactly. Exactly, exactly. So when we are thinking about everyone else and we are creating desires based on what we think we should want because it's what our kids want, it's because other people want that, that is when it's not actually aligned with the new timeline. Because remember what I said in the beginning of there's already a version of you who is living in your desired reality. So when you can visualize, when you can truly feel into that new reality, that is because there's already a version of you experiencing that. But if you create desires based on, I should want this, or my kids want this, or blah, 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 that's when you're not actually aligned with the timeline. There's not a timeline where you're experiencing that. So you won't be aligned. The energy, there'll be split energy between you and your desires. So we want to get you in a place of alignment, a place of like true alignment with the new timeline so that you can actually quantum leap into that new reality. So, what I want you to do as this exercise from to tap into your desires and create your desires is I want you to write a list of what you would love to experience more of. Okay, so noticing your gratitude list, noticing of, okay, this is what I have, this is what I'm so grateful for, but I desire more of that in 2025. I have beautiful money in my life. I've experienced moments of abundance, but I desire more. And getting really clear on what that more is, right? If it's that soul partnership you're looking for, I've experienced moments of love with my family, with my friends, with myself, but I desire more. I desire that partnership to come into my life. I don't need it because I already have beautiful love in my life, but I desire more. Okay, do you see where I'm going with that? So I just want to take a couple of minutes here to do this exercise. And then what I recommend after this event or tonight is to write a list of 50 things that you want to call in to your life in 2025. And you might be thinking, whoa, 50? Is this girl crazy? But the beautiful thing of writing a list of 50 is that it gets you to think outside of the box, right? Because most of us will write a list of maybe 5 or 10 things that we want to call into our life. But going to the 50 allows you to think outside of the box, saying, like, oh, I desire fresh flowers every week to be delivered to my house. I desire a personal chef to come into my house once a week and cook us all meals. It helps you to think outside of the box. I desire to, you know, um, donate to this particular charity, right? But I don't want you to just think about things that you can give to others and how others are going to benefit. I also want you to think about yourself, okay? First and foremost. think about what would I love to experience? Because the whole premise of getting really clear on the vision and what's in it for you, because this helps, the ego wants to know what's in it for them, right? What's in it for me that I go out and I attract and I move towards this new life? Because if there's nothing in it for you, then the ego will look at this mountain and be like, oh, no, that's too hard. That's too hard to attract. So therefore, I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like there's anything in it for me. Like the reason you turned up to this event today is because you know that there's something in it for you. The ego is aware that there is something in it for you, that you are going to be able to shift into a new timeline and attract what it is that you desire in 2025. So we want to actually get really clear on what's in it for you, because that is what helps to move the body and do the thing and do the scary thing and get out of our comfort zone and go and create the life that we desire. Because it's like, oh, okay, there's something in it for me. So I'm going to do that scary thing. I'm going to do that thing that's going to push me out of my comfort zone because I know that it's leading me towards this life that I desire. Does that make sense? So I read a book recently that said, do 20 years worth. Ooh, love that. Absolutely. What I love to do and what I would recommend when it comes to actually putting a time limit on it. So I used to create these big visions that were for 5 years or 10 years down the track. And what I realized was that because I was putting a time on it, saying that I can only attract this particular thing in 10 years, or, what this book has said in 20 years, then we are going to act in accordance with attracting what it is that you desire in 20 years. Does that make sense? So, what I love to do is I love to help you, yes, create this vision that you would love to attract in 2025, but then how can we actually step into the version of ourselves who is living in that desired reality right now? Because that's when we condense time in between asking and receiving. So that is why I refrain from saying, higher self or future life, because it's already happening right now. It's already happening in the quantum right now. And it's about shifting to align with that new timeline. It's not about how hard we work. It's not about like a certain amount of time. And when we put time into the equation, like 20 years or 50 years, then we will attract what it is that we desire in 20 or 50 years. But you want to attract what it is that you desire in a much faster timeline. So that's what we are talking about when we're quantum leaping, because there is no time in the quantum. Time is a construct that we have created. And the more that we tie ourselves into time, and the more that we create our desires based on time, the more that will be our reality and that will be our truth. But I'm allowing you to break down constructs and belief systems so that you can attract what it is that you desire in the so much faster. Like when I first made this shift, when I went from 0 to the 6 figures and the dream home and all of those incredible things, like that happened in a year, right? Then the next quantum shift that happened in 6 months. This year, I had to create a whole new vision board because I manifested every single thing that I asked for within 6 months because of this work, because we start to play in the quantum realm. This is my superpower, and this is what I love helping women do, people do, because why not? Like, we don't want to be experiencing in 20, 50 years. Okay, so I'm going to play this song in just about 2 minutes, this one. just to write down a few desires so that when we come back when we come back into the meditation, we can actually tap into that timeline. So I'm going to lead you into a meditation to really conclude today's workshop and event so we can start to tap into that version of you that you desire, who's already living in your desired reality, because that's when we start playing in the quantum realm. Okay, so beautiful. Oh, isn't it incredible to really create from that space of gratitude, of I already have so much in my life, because especially when we are high achievers, we are wanting to create more and more in our life. It is so powerful to reflect on what we actually already have within our life. Not only will that then help you attract more in your life, but it will help you really love the life that you are living. Because so often we think that when we attract the life that we desire, that that is then going to give us those feelings and those emotions. But what it actually does, it just amplifies how we are already feeling within ourselves. So we want to allow ourselves to feel into the feelings now, into the gratitude, feeling into the abundance, feeling into the love, feeling into the joy, so that when these things that we desire to experience in our life come in, that it's amplifying those feelings that we already have, right? And it's really truly about the journey. I know I used to hear that and I'm like, shut up. Like, no, it's about the destination. What are you talking about? But then when you realize you get to that place, you're always going to be desiring more, right? You're always going to be wanting for more in your life. So it's getting to that place of feeling gratitude for what you have and then desiring more from that place because you're always going to be wanting more. That's just the evolution of our human experience is to evolve and experience more. So, as you tapped into some of those desires that you would love to experience in 2025 and really tapping into that new timeline, and I recommend, of course, going back to that and really writing down that 50 list. And then I've actually popped in a Canva template for you to use to actually create more of a visual representation. So you can go on to Pinterest. I love Pinterest to get the images and get the emotions flowing. And then from that space, you can create it on your phone. So I have one on the back of my phone. I have one on, my wall, because the more that we can see that and not just see it, but feel into the emotions, then the more that we are going to really, call that in and be aligned with that new reality. But like what I said, we want to actually go past the vision board because a lot of the time, what happens, and I used to do this all the time, is just create the vision board and just put it on my wall and just look at it every single day. And I'd be like, okay, well, why isn't it coming into my reality? What is going on there? And a huge missing piece of the puzzle is identity work, is actually stepping into and embodying the version of you who is already living in the desired reality. And this does not mean that it's about looking differently or, getting a new haircut or becoming skinnier or, looking different, right? I think there's a huge misconception in the manifestation realm and the identity realm is that we have to, okay, well, I need to lose the weight or look a certain way, then I will be aligned with this new reality. I will be aligned in this new timeline. And I want to share with you the most powerful thing that you can understand is that you can shift into this version of you from today, right? You can decide that you are aligned and you can step into this version of you today, and all of the perceived flaws that you feel like you need to fix in order to be aligned is actually creating a gap in between where you are and where you desire to be. So the more that we can close that gap, the more that we can step into that version from today, the closer we are to attracting what it is that we desire. And that doesn't mean that, we will absolutely become the version of us that we need to be in order to be aligned with that new desired reality today. Because, for an example, if you desire to, say, speak on stages in 2025, but right now you have fear of being seen and you don't even want to show up online. You don't want to go live on your Instagram. And there's a lot of like fears and beliefs that are keeping you in the old timeline. Then, of course, that is going to take some reprogramming work to shift into that new identity who is aligned with the version of you who is speaking on stages, right? Of course, that's going to take a bit of time, but the more that we can show up and step into that version of us and embody and act from that place, the quicker that this reality is going to come into your experience. So, what I really want to do to finish off this beautiful event and space is to lead you through a visualization where we are tapping into the new timeline and we are tapping into that version of you who is living in your desired reality. Because, like, when we can tune into her and we can see how she is acting, holding herself, she's speaking, she's like, and it's 111 as I'm saying that. I love that. The more that we can tap and tune into her and see what characteristics and traits that she's embodying, the more that we can lean into that and embody her from today, the quicker and the fastest timeline that we are going to quantum leap into this new reality in 2025. Okay. So I'm going to lead you through this really powerful visualization. So if you can, if you're not driving, if you're not, operating machinery, then really lean into this with us. If you are driving, then just allow it to, play in the background and allow yourself to even just still tap into the feeling. And then really notice this version of you who is living in that desired reality. So it's about 7 minutes. So definitely stay to the end because I have a couple of other things that I really are going to be really, really potent to take from this space. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. So let's get this up. When you're ready, I invite you to settle down in your chair or wherever you are sitting right now. And when you're ready, I invite you to bring awareness into the space that you are sitting in right now. What do you feel on your skin? Do you feel the seat that you're sitting on? Or maybe you feel the bed that you are lying on. Feel the sensations on your body right now, the cool breeze, the heat penetrating the skin. Bring awareness to everything that you are currently experiencing in the room around you. What are you hearing? What can you see? And what can you touch? Now, when you're ready, I invite you to close down your eyes. And when you close down your eyes and you cannot see the room around you, bring awareness into the body. Take a deep breath in through the nose and an audible breath out through the mouth. One last time, deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And now I want you to visualize a violet light coming down around your head, surrounding down your shoulders, your torso, around your stomach and legs and feet. Feel that violet light surrounding you, allowing you to feel safe, allowing you to feel present, allowing you to tap into the timeline where your desires are already yours. So as you feel that violet light then swell up through around the legs, around the stomach, up the torso, the neck, the head, and up into the ether. Now, when you're ready, I want you to start to visualize where you are at right now, the first place that your mind takes you to, where your desires are already yours. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you sense in this new environment? The desires that you have asked for in the shift, what are you currently experiencing right now? When these desires are already yours, you have manifested exactly what you have asked for. You have shifted into this new timeline. What does your house look like? What does your wallet look like? What does your wardrobe look like? What does Christmas feel like now that you are living in your desired reality and you have manifested everything that you have asked for? What are you doing? Who are you surrounding yourself with? I want you to really feel into the feelings as if it has already manifested into your life. Now I want to bring your awareness to a mirror that you can find in the room where you're currently at. And you walk over to the mirror and you look at the reflection that is peering back at you in the mirror. And I want you to look at this version of you, the version of you who has the abundance, the money, flowing out of your bank account, flowing into your bank account, all of the wealth that you desire to manifest in 2025. What does this version of you look like? Does she feel confident? Does she feel abundant? Is she holding herself a certain way? The version of you who has manifested the love that you desire, How is she holding herself? This version of you who has quantum leaped into this new timeline. What is different about her when you look at her in the mirror? And I want you to ask this version of you, does she have a message for you that you can take with you back to your timeline so that you can close the gap between where you are currently and where this version of you is? What is that message that she desires to give to you? Beautiful. Once you have received that guidance, received that message, I want you to start to bring your awareness back into the room. Start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. Start to take a deep breath in through the nose, waken up the body, and open up the eyes. Beautiful. Come back into the present moment. How are we all feeling? Oh, such a powerful exercise and visualization to actually tap into that timeline, because we don't realize, but when we're actually in the fourth dimension, when we're actually visualizing, we are tapping into that timeline. That is my true, true, true belief. And it's so powerful because the more that we can do that, it's not only tapping into the feelings of already having your desires and creating the neutrality around that. Oh, beautiful. I'm so glad that you love that. Yeah. Um, Neutrality around our desires. But it's the real power is tapping into the version of you who or is living in that desired reality. That is the true power of the visualization. So through that visualization, after this particular event, I really encourage you to look at and really, like, through that visualization, you were able to see this version of you in the mirror, and you were able to see what characteristics she had, and you could see how she was holding herself. This version of you is what we want to tap into and step into, because that is when we become magnetic to our desires. It is honestly the most powerful thing. We think that it is a strategy or something that we need outside of ourselves in order to make what we want happen and create what we desire. But what you desire already exists. So you are literally aligning your energy. You're not creating anything, you are aligning to that new timeline. And when you step into and embody that version of you, that is when the doors start opening. It is actually wild. Since doing this work, when I was in that stage, when I hadn't, done this work and identity shifting, I was always trying to make something happen. I was always trying to invest in more strategies within my business. I was always trying to look outside of myself, like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I'll work really hard. I studied uni for 7 years, and I always had that mentality, had 3 jobs at the same time, and always had that mentality to just go, go, go and make it happen. But the real magic happens when you align with that version of you who already has what you desire, because that is when you become magnetic to the opportunities. That is when you become magnetic to those doors starting to open for you, because you are the version of you who is ready to walk through that door. I'm telling you now, this is where the magic happens. It is so powerful. So the last thing that I encourage you to do from that space is not just step into that version of you, not just step into more confidence, not just step into feeling more successful now, not just feeling more abundant, all of those things, but also I want you to write down 1 to 3 aligned actions that you will take from this new identity in the next week, okay? Before the new year. What is 1 to 3 or even 1 to 2 actions that come through from that space that you are going to move from this new identity? Because I don't want you to just feel different and be that version of you, but it's taking action from that space, right? And it's not hustle action, right? It's not being like, oh, how can I go out there and make this happen? It is that inspired action. It is that download that you receive because you have stepped into that version of you from this event, because you have shifted into the new timeline. You've received the aligned action, and now it's time to act upon that. Okay, now it is time to take those steps. Even if it feels a little bit scary, even if it feels a bit uncertain, because you're not taking action from the old identity who is limited, right? You're taking action from the space of the new identity who is in the new timeline, because that is when you attract what it is that you desire in the fastest timeline. So, I am so celebrating you right now. Through what we have done today, we have done some powerful work right now to shift you into the new timeline, right? And it really, truly, yeah, beautiful. I'm so glad, Mariana. Beautiful. Yes, could stay there a little longer. Absolutely. And that's right. The visualization meditation will be in the recording as well. So you can come back to that. Absolutely. Right. And this is only like a tip of the iceberg when it comes to identity shifting, right? It is really, the tip of the iceberg of shifting into this new reality. Of course, you're shifted, you're aligned with this new reality, but then comes the work of truly stepping into that version of you. So I have some really, really exciting things that are happening within my business, within my space in 2025, which I am honestly so excited for. As a result of stepping into this new identity, as you will find once you step into this identity more and more, is that everything as a result of that starts to shift. So my business is shifting hugely in the new year. And what I have to offer to continue this journey, because what I have found with clients is that that 3 month mark is really, really, really powerful that for that transformation to step into this version of you, which is what helps to quantum leap into that new reality. So, what I have um, for the new year is audacity to be her. So, this is about stepping into the 6 figure version of you, because how I quantum leaped into the first 6 figures and how my life shifted, because it's not just about the money, it's about all areas of life once you step into this version of you. And once I manifested all of those things, it was because I stepped into this new version of me, who I was, that who attracted $0, who was living with her parents. She thought a certain way about herself. She showed up a certain way. She had a different identity. And I was a completely different person and version of me when I manifested and quantum leaped into that new reality, because I had the audacity to be her first, right? That is when everything externally shifted as a result of that internal shift. So for the beginning of February, I am launching Audacity to Be Her. So it's stepping into the 6 figure version of you, which is all about the identity work. And this work is so powerful. And the work that I have truly been mastering over these couple of years specifically so that I can deliver this space for you and open up this space. So it's truly about helping you step into that version of you, right? It's truly about in all areas becoming the best version of you, which then in turn creates the most magical life that you could ever comprehend. And this is how we become magnetic, because if we're not the person who is ready to walk through that door or to ready to embark on that opportunity, then we won't be aligned with receiving it, right? And we constantly look outside of ourselves for, okay, what's the next strategy that I need to implement in my business? How can I go out and get this? How can I go out and make this happen? But where the true magic happens, and what I love, and this is like my honestly, my gift into this world, is to help you align with that timeline, which we have embarked on today and touched on really, to align with that new reality, because that is when you are the version of you who is magnetic to receive those things. That's when money started to just come in from all areas. Clients, dream clients. The house that we desired, we called in with so much ease. The money for the house, the relationship, the proposal, oh, everything manifested in such a short period of time because of this identity work. So that is what Audacity to Be Her is all about. So I'm going to have guest speakers. I'm going to have a breathwork facilitator to come in so that we can actually get into the subconscious and we can actually see what is happening and blocking you from stepping into this new reality so that we can shift that, shift timelines, and help you to feel the embodied six-figure version of you internally, because that is when everything externally shifts as well. So I'm really excited to launch this particular space. I'm going to cap the numbers. So if you are really interested and intrigued and you're just like, oh, I don't know exactly why, but I feel the pull, because we've already tapped into that version of you. And I'm saying, oh, the synchronicities that are happening right now, like a notification just came up with 222. And yeah, so I'm just off topic because I'm just so excited, because this is where I'm really moving and shifting my business into, is helping you step into the version of you who's aligned with your desired reality. So the number's going to be capped. And if you wanted to join before 2025, I highly recommend, because you will also get access to Lucky Girl Academy, which is my 12-part program, so my 12-week program that helps you step into and manifest your desired reality. So already before you even start Audacity to Be Her, you will already have the tools to shift in and manifest some incredible things. You will also have access to my program, Rewired to Abundant. So this is helping you shift at that identity level into the wealthy version of you, because that's when you become magnetic to so many abundant things, but also money as well. So you'll get access to Rewired to Abundant and Lucky Girl Academy if you sign up before the end of this year. And then we start Audacity to Be Her really early February. So amazing. Like, you'll get all of the details sent to you via email if this is something that you are feeling the pull towards and you want to check some details out as well. And I like, it's such a powerful thing to make the decision from that version of you that we tapped into, because often what happens is that, we leave these spaces being like, oh, that felt really good, that was really powerful, I felt the pull to go to that next level and to really create what it is that I desire in 2025. But I feel like some fear coming up. I feel like, some lingering doubt. What if it doesn't happen? What if I can't get my money back? Blah, 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 blah. And we let that and we let the subconscious and we let the ego get in the way of attracting what it is that we desire. And I was actually talking to my partner, and he was listening to a specific podcast today. And it was all about this particular person that he was listening to was talking about, how we wait to do the things that we actually want to do because it's like this feeling like that we have all of the time in the world. We'll leave it for next year, and then next year comes around, and oh, we'll wait for the year after. And in this particular podcast, he was saying that he wished that he didn't wait to do the things that he wanted to do because he's at this point of his life now where he's reflecting on the past 10 years and he's like, wow, if only I just went for it. If only I didn't let myself get in the way of creating the magic and creating the life that I desired. And so often we're just like, oh, we've got so much time in the world. But really, it's like, do we actually? Right? I always think about this. It's like you want to live your life like, this is the last year that you're ever going to experience. How would you live it differently? How would you move differently? How would you act differently? And live and act from that space and watch everything change. That has been my biggest takeaway from this year. Absolutely. So, along with Audacity to Be Her, I'm opening up a few spaces really, really exciting for if you want to do more intimate space, if you want to have more of that one-on-one and you're just like, I want to start ASAP, then in January, I'm opening up 4 spaces in person and 4 spaces online. And this is a transformational day one-on-one with me in person for 4 spaces or online for 4 spaces, where I'm going to actually go so much deeper into the concepts that we have spoken about today, from shifting from the old timeline and the old version of you and really getting into the nitty-gritty, like going deep into what is blocking you from attracting what it is that you desire, getting really into the nitty-gritty of your identity, your current identity, and then we're going to break for a luxurious lunch. So in the in-person, if you live in Queensland and you would love to be a part of this, definitely snatch one up before they're gone because these are going to go so quick. I just feel it. But I'm going to have these luxurious VIP days in the hotel, the Carlisle in Brisbane. It is stunning if you have not seen it, definitely look that up. And if you're in Queensland and you want the most transformational day together, then definitely get your hands on one of these spaces because they will be gone so quickly because it's going to be incredible. So we're going to break for a luxurious lunch, and then I'm going to help you step into the 6-figure identity. So it's all a full day to actually fully step into and embody the 6-figure version of you. And then you will have me like that next week to help you solidify what we have spoken about in that day. And I'm also going to help you create a roadmap. So you're not just going to leave, feeling inspired and feeling like the new version of you, but you're also going to leave with a practical plan in how to actually manifest this in 2025. So each month, it's going to be a practical plan. These are the steps, la di da di da. So if you are interested in any of those, and if you're feeling the pull, then you'll get the email after this, or if you're watching it on YouTube, then sign up down below to the email list and I'll send you the link with all of these beautiful offers. Or I might just, put the offers as they are, linked to the website down below. So just check that out. And if you have any questions, I'm going to open up a few calls. If you're feeling the pull, but you have a few questions, or you're like, is this the right offer for me? Like, I'm here to support you, right? It's not about, like selling you into something that's not aligned for you. It's like, how is this going to help you? If this isn't going to help you, then it's not for you. It's not going to be for everyone. Okay. That's just it. Like, it's not for everyone. But I know that if you're on this call, you're ready for more, you're ready to actually experiencing that quantum leap in 2025, then these spaces are going to be next level. Just saying. But I am so, so proud of you for being on this call today, for being open to receive exactly what was meant to come through for you on this particular call. And I am just cheering you on because what is meant for you is so incredible. I feel it. I feel it in my body. So I wanted to end today's call with a really, really powerful song. So the song is, let me grab it. The song is Sia, Never Give Up. So if you're watching on the YouTube, then just yeah, go to the playlist, play that song. And this song is so powerful because, so often yeah, it's like, oh, we create the vision board, we get really excited about this new life, and then we will just, forget about it a week later. But it's truly about embodying this version of you right up until it manifests. And I love this song because it's like, it's truly like never give up. Never give up on this bigger vision because it's meant for you. You are meant to experience it. And like that, and I'm so excited for you to experience. Okay, so I'm going to love you and leave you here. If you're watching the live on YouTube, the recording on YouTube, otherwise, we will finish this beautiful container. Thank you, everyone. I'm so happy you're loving it. Oh, I'm just so excited for you. Seriously, my mission and my vision for this space is so, so powerful, and I'm seeing 444. Okay, beautiful. So we're going to end it here. I love you, beautiful souls. Have an incredible rest of your day whenever you're watching this. And remember to do the embodiment work. Use that embodiment workbook that you have access to because it is powerful and it's going to change your life. So until next time, ciao.